Hello, everybody. This is Nathan Crane, founder of the Panacea Community and president of Panacea Publishing, Inc. And I'm super excited and honored and delighted that you're joining me here this evening for this webinar. This is the first time I've ever done this. I have taught pieces of this material to thousands of people all over the world, yet this is a very unique evening that you are joining me here for, and because of that, I am really excited and really happy because I have some really great new things to share with you that I think can really help you in a major way. So tonight we're going to be talking about how to live a healthier, happier, more abundant, meaningful life, overcoming the majority of life's major challenges and doing what you love, doing what makes you happy, doing what makes you fulfilled. So I'm going to switch over here to the slideshow so you can see some of the slides I've prepared for you. And we're also going to open up for Q&A later on in the webinar. So keep an eye out for the chat box later on once we open for questions and answers. All right, so here we go. Over the past decade or so, more like 2 decades, I've really come to realize that there's about 25 major challenges. There's hundreds, maybe thousands, and there's some that I'm not going to cover here, but these are kind of the major ones that I found that most people experience in their lives at one point or another. And this is kind of important to know this, because when we have more awareness around these challenges that we're facing, I'm going to share with you some solutions of how you can overcome them. So first we need to know what they are. Most people I find are either unhappy, unfulfilled, doing work they don't enjoy, in relationships they don't love, just not having fun very often. They're disappointed with life or the way that their life turned out. They might be depressed, or they might have a lack of abundance or prosperity. I'm sure you can relate to maybe one or more of these. Many people are experiencing overweight, obesity. They're sick. They have some sort of diagnosis. Unfortunately, now we're close to 1 in 2 people in America being diagnosed with cancer. We have millions of people diagnosed with diabetes. They're making up all kinds of names of diseases that never existed before for things like low energy and mood swings, right? And pretty much giving a lot of different kinds of medication for these things. Some kind of physical pain, beyond just a scratch or a bruise, right? I mean, serious pain. People are experiencing medication beyond what is actually good for them, stomach problems or other illnesses. And I'm sure, if you're like me, you've probably experienced at least one of these or more. And the other ones, a little bit deeper meaning ones to me, are lack of connection to a higher purpose, lack of meaning in your life, disconnected from spirit, source, creator, or God, whatever you want to call that emanating source is giving life to all that is. Now, again, these are many of life's challenges that I find we all have in common to some degree, right? This brings us this level of commonality between us, and having this commonality is what makes us human. It reminds us that we are all connected one way or another, if it's through our challenges and our struggles, certainly in many cases through our successes as well. And lack of community, not supported in your efforts. You don't feel like people pay attention to your desires. It's hard to feel supported, listened to, and understood. I know we've all felt at some point like people just don't understand us, right? I know that I have many times in my life. I know that I felt like people just don't understand me, or didn't understand where I was coming from, or didn't understand what I was feeling, didn't understand my emotions. So here's my promise to you this evening. My promise to you is that this presentation, if you stay with me and if you focus and if you're here present with me, will give you tools and empowering solutions for preventing or potentially even overcoming all of these 25 major challenges in life. And I know that's really a huge promise, and I understand if you have any doubt, because I've experienced all 25 of these major challenges in my life, for the most part, before I even reached the age of 18. But we'll get into that in a bit. So I invite you to stick with me during the entire webinar, and I will fulfill this promise to you. Additionally, I'd like to give you a free gift for sticking around for the entire webinar. At the end of the webinar, I'll share with you how you can get this audio series that I created called Conscious Willpower, using your innate abilities to direct the flow of life. This is a $97 value. There's 8 audios. There's also transcripts that come with it. It's actually a lecture that I gave in San Diego to a group of dowsers. I was invited to the San Diego chapter of dowsers, which at that time I knew nothing about dowsing, but for some reason they thought I had something good to share, and apparently everyone there, mostly through the, by the age of 45 to about 70, absolutely loved what I had to share. They talked with me for hours afterwards. They said it was one of the greatest speakers they've ever had there. They invited me back again and again. So anyway, I turned it into 8 audios and transcripts. And I'm going to give this to you free at the end of this presentation, so just kind of out of good spirit. And I'll tell you how to get it once we finish. So just a little preparation, and for the next 90 minutes or so, you'll have my complete undivided attention. I'm going to focus here with you and really give you my all and my presence and my energy for you to get the greatest benefits. So I ask for you to do the same thing. And I ask for you to turn off your cell phones, your chat, your text, your Facebook, whatever kind of distraction might. If you have something, it's great. If not, you might want to go grab something really quick. It's really good to stop multitasking and really put our focus on this information, because I'm going to share a lot of information with you in a short period of time. And I highly encourage you to take notes. I encourage you to have a pen and paper, a notepad ready. I'm going to give you a lot of really good experience and things that I've learned over the years that I think can really support you in your ventures. So let's get focused here. Let's really put our time and energy and attention here. I'm going to give you my attention, and I certainly appreciate you doing the same. So as we get into this, I need to answer the question, why? Why am I doing this presentation? Why am I sharing this information with you? Why am I here, sitting behind this desk, in a position to even be able to share anything with you about living healthy, happy, fulfilled, a more abundant life? And I would love to answer that question. And basically, I'm going to switch over the camera here so we can have a little bit more intimate conversation. For those of you who don't know me, don't know where I came from, basically at 15 years old I was homeless, I was living on the streets, and I was addicted. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, I was addicted to prescription medication, I was in pain all the time, I was in and out of jail, I was really lost and confused. I was living a life that was very challenging. I didn't know if I was going to make it to 18. My parents didn't know if I was going to make it to 18. My teachers didn't know what to do with me. I was really kind of an outcast in the sense that, in my mind, I was progressive. I wanted to learn things dynamically. In school, I couldn't sit for an hour at a time and learn information that wasn't interesting to me. It just didn't work, and I didn't see the point in it. No matter how much people told me, you have to learn this, you have to go to college, you have to get a degree, you have to do this, then get a good job, then raise a family, then save your money, then when you're 65 you're going to retire, and then you're going to be happy. For me, that just didn't make sense. It didn't resonate with me, and I didn't think. Something inside of me told me, you know what, there's got to be something better than that. I can't wait till I'm 65 to be happy and doing what I love. I need to figure out how to do that now. Well, unfortunately, I was certainly surrounded by some bad influences, and I eventually became a bad influence myself, and I take all the responsibility for that, because when you don't listen to authority, people telling you what to do, and you know that what you're being told what to do isn't the most beneficial thing for you and for others, but you're opposing against them, ultimately in that case, what could I do? Well, I got kicked out of the house, I got in trouble all the time, I ended up sleeping under park benches, and I ended up looking for anything that would make me feel good. Anything that would make me feel good. And that eventually led to alcohol and drugs and this sort of thing, because it gives you an instant fix and it makes you feel good immediately. And I didn't have a lot of education or a lot of support around the ideas, the consciousness around what drugs and alcohol and substances and stimulants do to our mind and our body. Sure, in school they tell you don't do it because it's bad for you. But the reality is, when I tried the first time, I felt like it was great for me. So what I was told, what I was experiencing versus what I was told was in contradiction. And so, that my addictive personality led me down this road of self-destruction. And I eventually got to the point where, I didn't know if I wanted to live anymore. And I didn't, I was seriously contemplating taking my life. It was very tough times. Everything changed. I had a mentor come into my life that I was listening to for about 6 months to 8 months, and the things he was saying were just really resonating with me, and I started contemplating life. I started desiring something better for my life. I started wanting to experience more. I wanted to experience happiness, and I knew that the alcohol, the substances, this kind of life, I knew that wasn't working. I knew the life that everyone told me I was supposed to live certainly wasn't going to make me happy. So what was I going to do? Well, I threw a couple suitcases in the back of my 1987 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and I had maybe a couple $100 in my pocket and drove over 1,000 miles from Montana to California. I ran out of gas in Oceanside, and that's where I started my life over. And since then, I've been fortunate enough to go through a lot of life experiences. People look at me and go, "Wow, you're very young, yet you have all of this knowledge and wisdom to share. Where did you get that?" And the reality is, I feel like I've lived, at least 12 or 15 lives on this planet already. Before the age of 30. Anybody ever felt like that before? That you've gone through one life to the next, to the next, to the next. I've been through a lot of lives, a lot of careers, a lot of experience in a very short period of time. But I've also had a lot of help along the way, and that's what I'm going to share with you, is some of these things that I've learned along the way that helped me to accelerate my training, helped me to accelerate my personal growth, helped me to reverse addictions, helped me to improve my relationships, and on and on and on and on and on. So I'll get into that in a moment. And so this is a picture here. I was recently in Montana giving a lecture. I was on a speaking tour around the western states of the country, actually over to Connecticut as well. And I was invited to speak on KVZK on a television show, sharing a little bit about, where I came from, my story, and some of the successes I've had, and so forth. And he was interviewing me, and he was looking at me like, "Wow, are you serious? This really happened? You live this here in Montana? You don't expect that. Someone coming from Montana, you think, right? Horses and buggies and no electricity and that sort of thing. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're lost, if you're confused, if you're sick, if you're overweight, if you're not on your ultimate path towards fulfillment, you can be unhappy. You can be sad and depressed. You can be poor or not experiencing abundance. You can, get in trouble, whatever it is, no matter where you are in the world. And so whether, you've experienced these kinds of things to the extreme that I have, or just little parts of them in your life along the way, what matters is that understanding they're all a part of a vibration, a part of an energetic frequency, that we all experience these kinds of life challenges in one level of the spectrum, either in a very extreme or very low level, but we all experience them to some degree. And so how you overcome them is the same. That's the important thing to understand, is that how you overcome these things is the same no matter where you're at in your life. And so, here's a little proof for anybody that doesn't believe me, because I've certainly had people doubt and say, how could you be where you are now in your life and yet be that way before? Well, I understand that, because that lifestyle before certainly still to this day doesn't feel like it was real. Like I said, it felt like another lifetime a long time ago. Grab a drink of tea here really quick. And so here I was, I'm probably 16 years old here, and I was sick, I was angry, I was losing weight, I was getting pale, I had acne all over my face and my back, all over my forehead, which you can't see because I have this beanie on. And I was scared and confused and alone. And that led me down the path that I went down for the next few years. This was This was me just trying to figure out life. This was me just being a kid and on the streets trying to figure out what the heck am I going to do with my life. Not a lot of guidance, not a lot of support. Certainly my parents loved me very much, but you know, they had challenges of their own, and they weren't able to support me in the way that they wish they could have. And you know, we lost touch back then, and yet over the years we've been able to cultivate our relationships to a degree now that we actually have better relationships now than we ever had before in our life. And I'm very grateful for that, but it took a lot of pain to get to this point. And you know, that pain is something that we all experience, yet I've learned along the way that if you know the strategies, if you know the facets, if you know the pillars of how to prevent pain and how to overcome it, emotional, mental, physical pain, you know, you don't have to go through as much pain. Certainly not as much as I did, and that's my hope, is that nobody ever has to go through what I went through. But I know there are many people who've been through what I've been through, and probably in some cases even much worse. And so here's a picture of me after. I recently produced an event called the Cure to Cancer Conference, now being called Integrated Health Conference. This was in San Diego. I had about 20 leading doctors, medical doctors, naturopaths, holistic practitioners speak on stage. We had about 400 people come. It was the first year that we did it. We live streamed it across the world, and it was a huge success. This is Chris Wark. He's very well known in the alternative integrative health field. He overcame, I believe, stage 4 colon cancer. And he was in his early 20s when he got diagnosed with colon cancer. And you know, he went through a lot of fear, a lot of resentment, a lot of things until he figured out, you know, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my health. And now he's such an amazing guy. He's in his 30s. He's a very sweet dude. He's very kind, very funny, and he was one of my speakers on my stage at that event. And you know, fortunately now I get to hang out with people like Chris all the time because of the life I've been able to create, understanding these pillars. And so let's talk about the 5 pillars for living a fulfilled, healthy, happy, abundant life. These are the pillars that I've come to find over the last decade. You know, really studying, really practicing, you know, researching with many experts from around the world, studying every major religion out there for the most part, meditating, observing, traveling, you know, being homeless 3 times, living on park benches again, but this time, you know, from more of a place, I guess you could say a spiritual place, but I don't know if I want to give that connotation, because, you know, just being, you know, without money doesn't mean you're spiritual. See, that's just a belief system. And so I thought at that time when I was going through these transformations that, you know, to be spiritual meant I had to give everything away. I had to give away my ego. I had to give away my self-identity. I had to give away my money. I had to give everything away. And eventually, I had nothing but the clothes on my back, and I certainly didn't know how I was going to pay my bills or how I was going to put gas in my car. I didn't know, you know, anything. I was happy at that time. I was learning to be happy with nothing, and so that was a huge value to me. Yet at the same time, giving everything away does not necessarily mean that you're selfless. You see, that's kind of this, it's a mixed belief that we have when we go down this spiritual path, that we think, oh, we have to become this, you know, celibate guru monk or whatever, otherwise we're not good enough, or, you know, we're not qualified enough, or whatever it is. But the reality is, you know, yeah, I did that, and yeah, I lived that way for a short time, but the truth is, that wasn't leading me to ultimate happiness and fulfillment. I felt that my work in the world was so much more than that, and it helped me to certainly cleanse myself, to purify myself a bit, to purify my old ways of living. But to some degree, you know, you don't want to stay stuck in that area. You know, there's a difference between giving, and not receiving anything, and going with the flow of abundance where you're giving and receiving, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. So I find a lot of people are either in a place where they give too much and receive nothing, right? Can you relate with that? You give all the time, and it seems like nothing's coming back to you. Or you give, you don't give enough. You're taking, and usually people in this level of consciousness aren't aware that they're just taking, and not giving. So what I found is, how do we find a balance between these two places where we're giving and receiving. So we're creating a fair and mutual collaborative balance between the energetic flow of life. And coming back to the pillars here for a moment. These are the pillars that, I could have done 12 pillars, 100 pillars, whatever, but the truth is, to live happy, to live healthy, to live abundantly, to live a life that is meaningful, to live a life that is full of purpose, the truth is that you don't need 100 pillars. You don't need 12 or 20 or 10 or whatever. There's really 5 core pillars. Now, inside of those, there's dozens of subtopics and sub-pillars, obviously, but there's 5 core ones. You get these 5 things right. These are things I spent the last decade researching, studying, experiencing, on and on and on and on to figure out. And here's what I came up with. You ready for this? Let me pull up my slideshow here really quick. Grab a quick drink of water. Is this okay for everybody so far? You guys enjoying this? Everyone can hear me okay? If not, you can just tell me to get out of here, and I'll shut this down and go home. Nah, I'm just kidding. I won't go anywhere. I appreciate you too much, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So, the first pillar is what I call mental mastery, and I'm going to get into each one of these in more detail. So let me just give you an overview of the 5. We got mental mastery, we got emotional engagement, we have physical purity, we have conscious connection, and the 5th one is co-creative collaboration. Okay, so let's dive into each one. If you have a notebook, this is probably a good time to take notes, because first pillar, and this is order of importance as well, is mental mastery, is learning how to direct the mind for the power to do good in our lives. And that means we have to understand thought, we have to understand its constructs, its purpose, its source, how it works. We have to understand how thought implicates the results in our life and how it is a major part of everything that happens to us. We have to understand our human design. We have to understand that we are thought processing machines. That's what we do. We have to understand that our mind is a part of us, yet it is not the brain or inside the brain either. And you can ask any neuroscience researcher this, that they will tell you they can certainly find the brain, they can find the vehicle, but they can't find the conductor, and they can't find the thoughts, and they can't find the mind. They can see the electricity happening, passing through the neurons and the electrical system inside the brain, but they don't see where the thoughts are stored because they're looking at the physical anatomy of the human. And to see the mind, you have to go beyond the physicality. And there are devices that can actually show you the mind now. But beyond that, and I'll get into that later, but the more important thing to understand here is you have to become a master of your thought. You have to become a master of your mind. You have to become a master of the thoughts you allow in of you. This is a picture. I'm giving a lecture at the Raw Living Expo, and I'm talking to a crowd of, I don't know, maybe 100, a couple hundred people, and sharing the 7 steps for overcoming every addiction and habit in your life. And one of those things is awareness. And being aware, so there's 7, but I'll share with you the most important one first here. And that's being aware of our thoughts and how they affect us. Being aware of how our negative thoughts are showing up in our life and how our positive thoughts are showing up in our life. And how these things have a purpose, they have a meaning, they have a balance, and how you can take control of them. I remember talking to somebody some time ago and sharing with them the subject, sharing with them, you can control your thoughts. And I said, yeah, right. Are you kidding me? Control my thoughts? They just come and go, come and go, come and go, thousands every second. I said, no, you can. You really can. Here, just let me give you an example. There's one example of 100, literally 100 things you can do, but here's just one powerful thing. Allow thousands, hundreds, whatever thoughts going on, whatever's going on, and just sit for a moment, take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. Take one more deep breath. You feel that right there? Can you sense that? You instantly can come to the present moment with your breath. You instantly can shut off your thinking system with your breath. There's a lot of other things you can do. There's yawning practices and techniques that actually apparently are even more fulfilling to turning on the 1200 plus healing genes in your body, which is something Mark Robert Waldman talks about. There's some very powerful information on that. I'll share with you later. There is all kinds of different exercises, different kinds of practices, but bring yourself to the present moment is one of the ways to start mastering your thoughts. You see, you have all these thoughts going on, and if they're running out of control, then it means your life is out of control. You see, our lives, our experience of our lives is a direct relationship to the thoughts, emotions, and feelings we have going on inside of us at all times. And that is an absolute fact. Sure, you can't control that, the lightning's outside and cuts out the power or whatever. Sure, you can't control necessarily, somebody hitting your car or something like that. But your thoughts, your energy, your emotions, and your actions compacted over a period of time lead you to a certain place in your life where your future has been created for you by all of your past thinking and actions. And before you take an action, what do? Before somebody designed this desk, what did they have to do? They had to think about it, right? They had to think about what this desk was going to look like. They had to think about how it was going to work, how it was going to fit together. They had to eventually design a blueprint. And that all started with the thoughts. So you get control of your thoughts, you get control of your life. And this was one of the first things that I really started focusing on, really practicing intently, really making a big part of my life was how to control my mind. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy at first. It certainly wasn't easy. It was challenging because I was trying to figure this stuff out on my own for the most part. I had a mentor here and there, but for the most part, I was practicing and figuring this stuff out on my own at first. But eventually, I was able to get to a point now where, it's still a work in progress all the time, but my life has become a mirrored reflection of my thoughts, where now, I'm living in a place that I absolutely love. I'm living with a family I love. I have a beautiful wife and daughter. I have vehicles that are reliable. I have resources coming in every month. I get to do what I love. I get to travel the country. I get to speak to people and share inspiring and empowering subjects. And I get to do things that are meaningful for me. And so what we want to figure out is what's meaningful for you. What is it that's going to make you happy? What is it that's going to make you fulfilled? What is it that's going to bring you to that highest level of health and fulfillment and happiness? And so step one, we have to get control of our thoughts. Step two is emotional engagement. Emotions are simply energy in motion. One of my mentors once told me, energy in motion. Another way to put that is thoughts in motion, right? Our emotions are compounded thoughts built up at high vibrational frequencies that turn into emotions, right? The emotion of anger. What is anger? How does anger happen? Oh, this guy cut me off, this stupid mother, blah, 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 and this guy cut, and he's here, and he's just, cutting me off. What's he thinking? I'm so late to work. How could he think about cutting me off? Are you kidding me? How can this man do this to me? And this sort of thing, right? We get all crazy, and we get all livid, and we get all out of control. What happened? We had all these compounded thoughts built up at one time, and they exploded. Right? They totally exploded outside of us. They totally exploded. And what happened was, when that happens, your emotion gets out of control. And emotions are what lead to most of our, not most, but certainly many of our problems in life, right? In a relationship, have you ever been in a relationship that spun out of control? What happened? It was because we lost control of our emotions, right? Oh, that's the last time. That's the last time I'm picking your coat up off the floor. You're such a slob. I can't take it anymore. Right? Our emotions get control of us. But what happens is, it's not like our emotions It's not like our emotions are a living being without us. They are part of our thought process, part of our belief systems, part of our neuro wiring, part of how we develop ourselves over the years through unconscious and conscious training, self-training, and programmation, right? These emotions have taken control of our life. And so you get mad at somebody, you get angry at somebody, you get depressed, right? You get sad. Why do you get sad? Well, you get sad because your thoughts are building up about something most likely either in the future or in the past, right? You can't be sad in the present moment. You can only be sad thinking about something that might happen, right? Oh my God, we might lose our home. Can you believe that? I'm so sad. Or, you know, oh my God, my dog died, got hit by a car, I'm so sad. That didn't happen right now. That happened in the past. Not saying these things aren't valid. I'm not saying that, you know, sadness is a bad emotion. All I'm saying is that understanding our emotions, understanding how we engage with our emotions, how we use our emotions will completely change the direction and course of our life. And as you learn to get control of your thoughts and then you learn to get control of your emotions, wow, you are on the road, the pathway to taking total control of your life. I'm telling you. These two things alone completely changed my life. Took me some time, took me a lot of experimentation, took me a lot of failure, a lot of figuring this stuff out, a lot of research, but I figured out shortcuts along the way. I figured out ways that can accelerate your learning curve. I figured out things that can support you in your journey, that can really help you get control of your mind and control of your emotions. And the reality is that, number one, remembering that bringing yourself to the present moment, not being attached to the outcomes or desires, right? There's something that I like to talk about expectations. You know, some people say, yes, you have to have expectations to create what you want. Other people say, no, expectations are bad for you, they're going to cause you suffering. Both of those things are true. But the reality is, I figured out something called expectation without attachment. So what does that mean? You want something good in your life. You want something to turn out positive. You want to experience something that's going to give you a positive result. What do? You certainly can't think about how negative it's going to be because you don't have it, right? Which most of us do. Oh my God, my life sucks. I don't have that car that I want, or that job, or that career, or that woman, or that man. I don't have that thing that I want. My life sucks. The more you think about that, the more you put intention of that, the more you create of that around you, right? Law of attraction, we know that. This goes way beyond law of attraction. Because expectation without attachment means you expect the best in your life. You expect the best for you. You expect the best for your family. You expect things to turn out good. You expect that the world, the universe, source, the creator within you is here to serve you and support you to be the best human being, happiest, fulfilled human being that you can be. That's the expectation you have to learn to come to. Yet, expectation with attachment to outcome equals pain and suffering always. Always, right? If you have an attachment to the outcome, I expect to win this football game. You really want to win it and you're planning to win it, and what happens if you lose? You get disappointed, you get sad, you suffer, you might drink alcohol or do something stupid because you're upset, or you might punch somebody, who knows what, right? But the truth is, if you have expectation, but you have no attachment to the outcome, meaning I'm expecting the best, but even if I don't get it just yet, that's okay, because I'm going to keep striving for it. I'm going to keep going for it. I'm going to keep trying to achieve it until I get it. That's the thing you need to understand is I will do it until I will work at this until I get control of my mind, till my thoughts, 80, 70, 90% of my thoughts on a daily basis are positive, uplifting, empowering, supporting me and people around me. I will get control of my emotions 50, 60, 70, 80% of the time until I get to a place where I'm living a life that I feel empowered. You know, and emotional engagement doesn't mean you have this wild passion over the top kind of energy. It just means that things in your life, right? Emotions can be very powerful if you understand how to take control of them. And the third one, the third pillar is what I call physical purity. And this is true physical purification. You know, I like I said, when I was young, I was very sick. I was barely eating. When I was eating, it was fast food. It was hamburgers. It was fried food. It was junk food. It was toxic chemicals going into my body. It was the stuff that, you know, you probably wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole if you had any kind of consciousness around food, but I was living on it or dying on it, however you want to look at it. And now I'm healthier than I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm very fortunate to say that because, you know, I was at a point where I was very close to the edge of dying because I was so sick. I was burning my adrenals. I was having problems with my lymphatic system. My immune system was crashing. I was just totally going under with my health. And what I learned is that taking control of your health, cleansing, eating right, loving the living food, truly purifying your body, learning what foods actually are good for you, actually support you, actually will help you, not hurt you, not kill you, but give you life, is one of the greatest things that you can do because this body is our vehicle, right? This body is our vehicle, and this is the vehicle that we have in this life only, right? This vehicle, we know this vehicle will, our spirit will leave this vehicle, and this vehicle will go to the earth and eventually decompose, and hopefully, if it's, you know, put in the earth, it can give nutrients back to the soil and give nutrients back to the flowers and the plants and grow something meaningful from this vehicle. So we know this vehicle only lasts a certain period of time. And it is our source, it is our tool, it is our vehicle to get from here we are to, wow, here's where we want to go. And if we don't take care of it, which I didn't, right? I didn't take care of it for 18 years, for 19 years, for about 19 and a half years, close to 20 years. And, you know, I'm still paying the consequences from that. You know, it's taken me years to learn what it means to be healthy, learn how to cleanse and purify my body, learn how to put things in my body that are beneficial to it. But I can tell you what, when you do that, your energy levels increase, your clarity of thought increases, your ability to take control of your mind and your emotions increases, your ability to live a more meaningful life increases. You can do more, you can be more, you can achieve more, you can experience more. And not a sense of like, I need more of everything, but a sense of fulfillment, a sense of you're experiencing a journey on life in a vehicle that gives you energy. And I know some people listening to this have cancer, and I know some people listening to this have diabetes. I know some people listening to this are overweight or have obesity, and I know that these are issues going on in your life. And I know that these are challenges that you're facing, and I can tell you for certainty, I talk to people all the time, no matter where they're at, stage 4 cancer, they have type 2 diabetes, they're 300 pounds overweight, and they have 7 diseases, and they're on 13 medications. I talk to people all the time who start practicing these things I'm talking about, practicing these things I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. They take control of their mind, take control of their bodies, their health, they're eating properly, they're putting the right food and nutrients in their bodies, they're exercising, they're moving the lymphatic system, they're getting herbal medicine in their body, they're doing these things that are cleansing, purifying, cleaning out their body. Their whole life can change. Dave Conrarty, dear friend of mine, amazing man, hundreds of pounds, I think it was 300 pounds overweight, literally. Had more diseases you could count on your hands, had cancer, had diabetes, had all kinds of things. He was on multiple medications. And within less than a year, I believe it was about a year's time, he was able to overcome every disease that he had, get off every single medication that he had, and get to a point where he's been healthier in 7 years, 7 or 8 years, totally cancer-free and free of the diseases. He recently just got something going on with his body because he hasn't totally overcome, all of his eating addictions and all of his eating habits. But he prolonged his life to a place of at least 7 or 8 years of happiness, of health, of giving back, of sharing, of fulfillment. Brightness in his eyes, clarity of thought, high levels of energy. So whether you have major diseases going on in your life, or you're just trying to be at your peak fulfillment of your health, cleansing your body, purifying your body, understanding the principles and the practicality of the foods, of the nutrition, of how to supplement your body, how to get the right vibrational energetic frequencies and foods into your body, how to give the right electrical nutrition to your body and to your brain. These are things that I've spent years figuring out and studying from the masters, and I know that if you do any of these, you will experience a higher level of health, guaranteed, no matter what. Now, not saying it's going to cure you, it's going to, you're going to overcome anything, nothing like that. It might not. We don't know. It's all up to what you're willing to do, and also what you know, and also where you're at in the stage of your health. I mean, unfortunately, I've met people who were just too far gone and didn't matter what they were going to do. They were on their last breath, and hopefully you're not at that point. Hopefully you're at a point that you're looking to prevent ever getting to that point of sickness and disease. The truth is, hundreds of millions of Americans right now, and hundreds of millions more of human beings around the world are getting cancer, are getting diabetes, are overweight and obese, are having heart disease and heart failure, are having these issues going on in their life that are killing them unnecessarily. All of this is preventable. 99% of this is preventable. It is. It absolutely is. 99% of it. There are certain things, obviously, that's that 1%. But 99% of this can be changed in our lives. And the fourth pillar is conscious connection. Connecting to a higher purpose in life. And there are three things that I've done to really help me get to this place. There's actually about 20 things that I've done, but these are three very powerful things you can do every day. And it's what I call observation, contemplation, and meditation. And this is connecting to that higher meaning of our life purpose on the planet. And I truly believe now, having personally talked to thousands of people about this sort of subject, that every single person has a purpose on the planet. And whether it's predestined or they create it, the truth is, I meet somebody who is totally lost in their life, and within months or a short period of time or within a year, a couple of years, talk to them later, and they are doing things they absolutely love. They feel like they found their life purpose. It can be big things, it can be small things, it doesn't matter what it is, but it's in alignment with who they are and who they want to be and what they've come here to do. And destiny is certainly an interesting question, right? Destiny, is this destiny? Is this fate? Is my, me surviving all that I did as a child, as a teenager, going through all the addiction and the problems and drugs and the fights and the anger and the resentment and the fear and the guilt and the sickness and the depression, overcoming that now, being able to help people who are going through the same thing. Is that destiny? Is that fate? Is that predetermined? Is there some, being up in the sky that's, directing all this and making all of it happen? Well, I know for sure, had I sat in a room and just sat there, locked the door, didn't do anything, get up, go to the restroom, grab something to eat, and come back, meditated all day, contemplated, observed, read books, whatever, just sat there, nothing would have changed, right? I mean, I might have gotten a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more contentful, but nothing would have changed in the planet. Not in a big way. Not without me stepping into the role of wanting to serve and give back. Not without me wanting to say, hey, you know what? There's something here that is more important than just me wanting to take care of me. There's something here that can give me a sense of fulfillment, that can help support other people around the world. And what that was giving back, helping others, finding how I can be in service to other people. And that key alone, that question changed my whole life. I went from owning a marketing and advertising company, having clients paying me thousands of dollars a month, and learning all about all this marketing and all this kind of stuff, to having an opportunity to have hundreds of thousands of teachers, CEOs, salespeople, marketers, business owners all around the world become my students as I taught them conscious sales training. And at that exact pivotal moment, something inside of me said, no, Nate, that's not what you're here to do. You learned all that. That's all great, but it's time for you to move on and go to the next level. I said, well, I need the money. I need, this is a great opportunity. I barely pay the bills right now. I have an opportunity studying for this and even writing a book about it. And, this has been my life. Something inside me just told me, no, that's not it. That's not where you're going to find happiness. That's not where you're going to find fulfillment. That's not where you're going to be in your life purpose, doing the most that you possibly can in this life. So I sat in meditation and I said, I'm going to sit here until I figure out what the heck is going on with me. And what came to me very clear was to start an online community that was free, that supported people through health, awareness, consciousness, education. And that was it. I was like, how am I going to make any money doing that? Well, long story short, that turned into a publishing company. I started working with many leading experts and authors around the world. That turned into online courses and summits and all these different things that I started doing that eventually did start generating revenue. But it took me listening to that intuitive guidance, going inside myself and really questioning, what is it that I can do in this life that's meaningful? What is it that I can do that's going to give back, that's going to give purpose, that's going to support other people, and eventually support myself and my family, obviously, right? But we have to find that balance, and we have to find that balance. And very quickly, even though it was free, revenue and resources were coming in to support me. Small, started growing, and eventually, within a couple of years, I can now say that I'm in a place that I feel very, very good about and very fortunate about and very grateful to be here. And it took me getting more connected consciously. And there's about a dozen different practices you can do. There's hundreds, but there's about a dozen that I've done over the years that I think are incredibly powerful and can serve you and support you in a very masterful way. And one of my teachers, who I've read his books, they're incredible. These are books I highly recommend. Master Miao Tan, he's in Southern California, and I spent some time at his monastery studying with him. We traded books. We signed our books for each other. It was pretty cool. It was a very Buddhist monk Zen Buddhist monk out of China teaching here in the United States, and really, truly profound teacher. And he talks all about the mind. It's all he talks about. And one of his quotes in his book says, spiritual practice is about having the ability to create a joyful, fulfilling life and eventually obtain complete liberation from our limitations and suffering. That really hits it home, right? Our spiritual practice, our personal practice, our life practice, if what we're focusing on is how to be joyful, how to be fulfilled, how to obtain liberation from our limitations and suffering, don't you think that's a life worth living? Don't you think that's a life worth writing about or sharing, or your grandchildren sharing it with their grandchildren? Wow, my grandparents, my grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my dad, they really figured out how to be happy in life. They figured out how to be fulfilled. They figured out how to be free of limitations and suffering. And I'll tell you what, it's an ongoing journey. I know people that have been practicing this for 60, 70 years and still are completely stuck and haven't progressed, very much or very often. And so, my question has always been, what can I do to accelerate my learning? What can I do to accelerate my process of personal growth? What is it that I can do to make this faster, to get to a place where, my liberation of negative emotions, of negative thoughts, of negative food addictions, this sort of thing happens really quickly. And so I guess that's just how I am. That's in my mind. That's how I like to figure things out. It's like, I don't want it to take decades. I don't want it to take hundreds of years or lifetimes. It's like, I want it in this lifetime. I want to experience it now. And sometimes, sure, that can get me into trouble because I'm really trying to figure things out very quickly. But most of the time, what it does is it helps me go through these learning curves very quickly. and I pick things up very quickly, and I have a lot of failures and mistakes, but I overcome them very quickly, and I learn from them, and I get to the next level, and I get to the next level, and I get to the next level. And there are some things that have helped me to do that beyond any other thing that I could ever share with you, and I'm going to get to that in just a moment. And before I do, I want to share with you something that I think was pretty interesting, is that, it took me about 2 years doing this mostly on my own, with a little bit of support at first, to figure out each of these pillars, to figure out how to better control my mind. It certainly wasn't an easy task. My thoughts were just flying around like children on 2 pounds of Halloween candy, and my thoughts were totally out of control, and certainly took me time and dedication and learning and studying with teachers and this sort of thing. But a lot of it was just trying to figure this stuff out for myself for the most part. Taking back direction over my emotions was pretty challenging. I'd have these bursts of anger, these bursts of fear, sadness, and then moments of happiness and bliss, and then down to depression. And so when you start this path, or you've been on this path for a long time, you know what I'm talking about here, is that you can get to this place where you're feeling blissful and joyful and happy, and all of a sudden, boom, turns around, and it's like your whole life's upside down. But what I've been working on and figuring out is how do we find that balance? How do we end the roller coaster? And sure, I still have some drama once in a while in my life. Sure, I have a little bit of sadness here and there. My dog recently died on a highway in a new house we just moved to, and that was sad. I was certainly sad about that for a couple of days, but the reality is, I don't let those things fester and get stuck in my emotions. I figured out how to overcome these things for the most part, and live in a place that I can truly feel good about. Mostly peaceful, mostly content, mostly happy. And for the most part, mostly fulfilled. And cleaning out my body and learning about what it truly means to be healthy, it took me years, more than 2 years of experimentation. There were times when I was nearly starving, almost dying, up and down in weight. I went to many seminars, books, tried a lot of different cleanses, dozens of cleanses. I remember one time I walked into the office, my business partner at that time, he goes, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you?" I walked in with my friend at that time. We were on a 5-day master cleanse, which is nothing but lemon juice, water, cayenne, and maple syrup. And that's it for 5 days. And walk in, and, we're pale, we're skinny, we're like, he said we look like zombies. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? He said, "You look like you're dying." I said, "Oh, no, I feel great. I'm cleansing my body." Yeah, but I didn't know how to lead up. I didn't know how to prepare myself, my food, my body, my nutrition, have blended drinks and juices and this sort of thing before I start that cleanse. I didn't know how to come out of it properly. So, I learned those things along the way. Learn how to make cleansing easy. I learned how to make, shifting your diet easy. I learned how to make an exercise a part of your life much easier. Learn about which foods are actually good for you. And but a lot of people don't know about food is that there's not one diet and one type of food that's good for everybody. There's different body types. There's different human beings from different parts of the planet. So there's no one diet that's right for everybody. But there are some things that you can do that will help you to determine which foods are right for you. And connecting to a deeper purpose in life was certainly confusing at first. I remember walking down the street in the middle of the rain, and I really had no sense of self whatsoever. I had, they say that I had totally dissolved my ego at that time. I was walking around the streets for a couple of months, totally in happiness and bliss, yet at the same time, didn't know what I was doing on the planet. I didn't feel like, I had a major purpose or contribution to the planet, and, that led me to taking the next steps. And getting people to work together with me towards a common cause was really like trying to herd cats. It really wasn't very easy. I didn't feel like I had the leadership or the skills or the know-how to do it back then. But then everything shifted. See, my life accelerated because of one important, but truly this is an often overlooked aspect of the 5th pillar that I'm going to share with you. My businesses started taking off. I finally started earning a desirable income, and my health, truly, it did. It skyrocketed to a whole time. by this man who's tested thousands of people for their antioxidant level. And this was like when I was even 3/4 of the way through my healing journey, through my health journey, which I'm still on to this day, and I always will be. But I say 3/4 of the way before I got to a stable place where I really understand my health. And he tested my antioxidant level, and he was astonished. I actually have the chart somewhere, the printout, but he said, "Oh my God, you are up there with the top 3 people I've ever tested on the planet." I said, "What?" So yeah, you're look at this. Your antioxidants. He's trying to sell me some product. They test your antioxidants and sell your product, but he couldn't sell it to me. He said, "Whatever you're doing, I need to know about it. And I want you to tell people about it because this is working." And I just kind of laughed. He goes, "Yeah, yours is up there with Dr. Oz's. The only person I've ever seen higher than yours is this woman I tested in South America who happened to live on 100% raw plant-based diet, growing her own food, living out completely away from the toxins, away from the city, away from the pollution. I mean, the purest diet, purest woman. And hers was like almost, I don't know, at least a third or 50%, or I don't remember, some crazy number higher than mine. Apparently, I was the next highest he'd ever tested. He tested doctors and naturopaths and health practitioners and health educators and people all over the world that thought they were healthiest. And I had no idea. I'm feeling better. This is working for me. And apparently my antioxidants were just through the roof. And part of it was mostly because of this pillar. I started working with people like Greg Braden, Howard Martin, Bernie Siegel, Ernest Chu, Mark Robert Waldman, many of the leading doctors and naturopaths in the integrative medical fields. Now a lot of these experts come to me and they ask me to help them with their businesses, their books, their careers. They want me to help them get their message out into the world. They want me to support them in their businesses and in their work. And I've created very, very humbling relationships and friendships with many of these leaders and experts in the industries. And a lot of it, most of it, has to do with this pillar. And to be honest, I do have more passion, certainly have more love, have more joy and happiness and peace in my life than I've ever had. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is not to, try and boast or say, hey, my life's so great or whatever. It's because I want you to really get this information. I want you to really understand that somebody like me who's been homeless, who's been on the streets, who's been addicted to everything you're being addicted to, somebody who had no direction in life, had no purpose, somebody who was lost and scared and confused, somebody who really, frankly, didn't know if he was going to make it past 18 years old, can turn their life around, can shift their life, can be in purpose, can have happiness and love. The truth is, this is the absolute truth. I know that if I can do this at any level, I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it if you understand this information, if you apply it, if you really get the essence of it, and if you practice it. I know that anybody can transform their life. I truly, truly believe that. I'm not, this, special whatever. We all have this ability inside of us. Sometimes we just need the support and guidance. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you. And I want to share this pillar with you. You ready for it? Would you like to see it? Okay. You're going to have to hang on just a second. Let me grab a glass of drink of tea here. All right. Here we go. So this is really when everything shifted. This is a fifth pillar. I call it co-creative collaboration. And the essence of this pillar is having diversified and highly skilled support team of leaders and people, educators, support leading thinkers who care constantly about you and what you're doing, who care about you and what you're doing in your life, who care about helping you. This diversified, skilled support team. This changed my life, seriously. Totally, completely changed my life. When I started bringing together leaders and thinkers and bringing them around me and surrounding me with them and their wisdom and their knowledge, I'll tell you what took me 8 years to learn and develop and change in my life, I was able to do in 1 year. Seriously. These things I've been practicing for months and months and months and months, I would just being around this support team, being around the information, being around the wisdom, being around this diversified collective group of leading thinkers, instantly being in their energetic vibration on a constant basis, seriously, would uplift me, empower me, inspire me, and take me to the next level. So sure, I can keep on going on in life and figuring things out and stumbling and falling on my face and making mistakes, and all of that's great. I'll always keep doing that. Mistakes are great. Failure is great because I get to learn from it. But now I make a lot less mistakes. I have a lot less failures for the most part. I have a lot less challenges because I get to learn from what these other experts are doing. They teach me, they share with me, they support me, they help me. This is, surrounding yourself with a support team will completely change your life, and having the right people. I mean, that is so critical. Sure, you can have support team, but are they people who've been through what they had to have gone through to have the true life experience to teach you what you need to know? That's the question that you need to ask. It's like, are these people just teaching from books, or do they actually have the life experience? Do they know what I need to know? Are they really there to support me and care about me? These things are critical. Another part of co-creative collaboration is doing something of value to the greater good, supporting others, giving back, creating community. And one of the powerful ways that we do this is through connecting to our source within us, connecting to the Creator, and doing it in a collaborative form. So when you connect to source first, you get yourself in the present moment, then you're surrounded by a source of leading thinker, or a team of leading thinkers, support group that is there to help you on your path and give you guidance, and you're coming from a place of pure divine connection and spirit. What I mean by that, there's not a sense of greed, or there's not a sense of anger. You're not acting out of judgment or fear. You're acting out of love. That's all I mean by that. Is you're thinking and intending out of love. I want to support my family. Why? Because I love them. Great. I want to support my family. Why? Because if I don't, we're all going to die. Okay, sure. That's one way to look at it. Could be true. But your motivations out of fear are going to dissipate much quicker than your inspiration out of love. Every time. Love will always beat fear, not with a broomstick, but with the light of the source and the energy of the Creator of the universe. And the truth is, what I found about that is that when you have loving people around you, supporting you, who can guide you along the way in your life will accelerate in ways that you could only imagine. So my question was, was this only going to work for me? Right? Was surrounding myself with, it's co-creative working for me? Certainly was making a big difference in my life. Certainly was accelerating my learning curve exponentially, 90% in many cases. But was it going to work for everyone? So I put it to the test. And I started producing online summits with leading experts. Did a ton of research, researched thousands. My wife and I actually, she helped me research thousands of experts out there. I interviewed them, put them through an interview process, and said, do you guys have the stuff? Do you have the stuff that we're really looking for? And, our first summit, I had just 24 maybe, so 20-something. So if you can imagine, researching thousands, interviewing hundreds, and only having 24. We really vetted these people the best that we could. I don't know everything about them, but, we did the best research on them that we possibly could. Some of the summits you might have heard of, the Teachings of Life was one, the Raw Living Summit, the Cure to Cancer Summit, the DreamWorks Summit, the Reality Creation Summit, and other summits. These are all summits that I've personally created, produced, and basically, ran the whole thing. Some of the feedback I got, this gentleman, Robert, says, it's just fantastic and uplifting information worth every second of listening. Thank you. He certainly got some sense of value from it. Maria, she says, incredible summit. I love the first two speakers. Can't wait to hear the others. Paul, he says, both the speakers reminding all of us, and especially those who've been in the self-development field for a few years, all the signposts to health and happiness in our lives. Hard-hitting, straight from the heart advice to help us make our changes. Well done to the organizers. Fantastic job. Well, thank you, Paul. I thought it went very well myself. And the truth is, summits are amazing. Summits are great. These are online events that happen for a certain period of time, and they give people a lot of valuable information in a short period of time. We have dozens of experts that are sharing specific topics of life, of transformation, of health, of wellness, of wealth creation, of overcoming disease, these sorts of things. So it's like going to a huge conference online for a period of 8, 10, 12, 18 days, right? The challenge with it is that they're designed as a conference or an expo, so they have a short life. The life ends pretty quickly. An expo, what, 3 or 4 days? Conference, usually a couple days. A retreat, maybe 7 days. A summit, I've done them 12, 15, 18 days. I've done them even a couple of months. But they have a short life. They end, right? Then it's over. There's so much information all jam-packed within a short period of time that unfortunately not everyone gets to listen to all of the education, all of the information. So that's one of the downsides, right? Is it, you only get to listen to maybe a few, because some people I know get to listen to all of it, and that's amazing, and I love that. Some people only get to listen to a few because they're very busy schedules. Some of the presenters use summits to promote a product or service, and that's okay. But the reality is, you're there to learn, you're there to be educated, and the truth is, you get hyped up, you get inspired, you get motivated, but for a lot of people, I notice that the motivation goes away. So some people get the long-term implementation, but it's usually a small percentage. So again, I love summits. I do. I think they're incredible. I'm going to keep producing them. I think they're very powerful. They do change people's lives. But I also wanted to figure out, how the heck can I take this to the next level? Because there's certainly some drawbacks to summits. And so, I went to the drawing board and I said, how can I get this information into a form that would truly serve people in their personal growth, give them the time they need to absorb and truly implement the information, and then support them along their journey as easily and as simply as we possibly can. And that's when I came up with what I call the new school model. Otherwise, I call it conscious apprenticeship. And this is about having topics that really matter to the betterment of your life and the world. This new school model, I really used what we learned from before and make sure teachers are vetted out very carefully. We do a lot of research, we do a lot of background, there's an application process. Most of the teachers I've worked with over the years, so I've gotten to know them and gotten to either produce their books, publish their books, or bring them to my conferences, hang out with them, spend time with them, really make sure that they are, people of value, people that can support you. And a new school model, in my opinion, is nothing for sale. No hidden agendas. You're not listening to a class, you're not going to an interview or recording or whatever, and they're there to offer you something for sale. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you get great information, but I wanted to purify it. I wanted to purify the teachings in a way in this new school model that you're there to totally learn, and they're there to totally serve. And the other part of it I realized is, one class per week. I realized if I just did one class per week instead of, 2 or 3 per day, how could we learn from that? How much quicker could we actually absorb the information and then learn it, contemplate it, and then implement it? How much of a difference would that make in our lives? And set it up in a way where, you can listen to it at your own speed. So it's one class a week, or it is one class a month, or it's one class a day. Certainly some people learn much faster and they can handle a lot more, they have more time. Certainly some people couldn't do more than one class a week. So the other part of it was that I wanted to make it actionable. I realized that anything I've ever done in my life that has helped me to become successful was when I had actionable steps, when I had practical steps of how to implement the information that I learned. And that's where apprenticeship comes in, right? That is where conscious apprenticeship is about being able to learn hands-on. Sure, you get the information, right? That's important, but you have to be able to apply it. You have to have some action steps to help you actually retain the information, get the experience, and be able to make it real in your life. So when you follow this new school program, this kind of new, this conscious apprenticeship, I found that, wow, this was really working for me, and I wanted to see if this was going to work for other people. And so again, I was getting fast results over a very supported period of time. But here's what happened to me. One class per week gave me time to contemplate and implement what I learned the previous week, right? Most of the important topics that I learned each week actually kept me interested because it was information that interested me, right? Remember when I was back in school and I was in a class that I wasn't interested in, what was I doing? I was goofing off, right? Unless you were very, you had very strict parents, or you were very susceptible to authority. If you were in a class that you absolutely had no interest in whatsoever, you probably weren't paying much attention either. And I knew that the teachers I was learning from actually had real-world experience about what they were teaching. We weren't just learning out of a book. This is a new school model where, the old school model was, you learn out of a book and the teacher's teaching out of a book, you're getting theory and that's it. Whereas the new school model is, I'm actually learning real-world experience. And I'm learning what my teachers had actually learned, and they weren't just teaching out of books, they were teaching from their personal experience. There's nothing for sale, there's no hidden agenda, so because of that I felt assured that the teacher was there to simply share their message and teach me the goods. And I wasn't rushed or felt like I had to listen to the class immediately, as I could listen to the replays if I missed them, which was really great. And then with actionable processes and homework, I could actually take notes. I could follow up. I could implement this stuff in my life. I could follow through with what resonated with me the most. And this was huge. You can go to school, you can go to college, you can go to a seminar, you can go to training, you can go to a conference, and there's 20 speakers there. But the truth is, you might only need to hear 5 of them. You might only need to hear 10 of them or 3 of them, and those you go to the conference because you need to hear those 3, right? You go to that program, that seminar, that course, because those are the things that are going to change your life the most. So the actionable steps and processes and homework, where I was actually taking notes and following up with those things that compelled me, I focused on those things the most that I felt were most important in my life, and still continue to do to this day. That's when I started seeing dramatic results shift very quickly. So within 13 months, here's the truth. Here's absolute fact. I went from working out of my garage, seriously, and at that time I was in San Diego, very small garage, very small home, and in the summertime there was no insulation in the garage, so in the summertime it would get to 110, 120 degrees in the garage. I'm sitting there working in my underwear because I'm sweating to death in there, and I'm just working away and doing everything that I could, to support my family and to fulfill what I felt was my life purpose. Within 13 months, I went from that scenario to leasing a 600-acre ranch growing organic fruit orchards and gardens, which was a dream of mine and my wife's, to now being in the position to buy my own house in the most perfect location I could have found on the planet. And this was in a very short period of time. I remember for 9 years, 8.5, 9 years, I want to buy a house, I want to have these kinds of things, I want to have this in my life. 9 years working, personal growth, manifestation, law of attraction, controlling my mind. All of a sudden, surrounding myself, co-creative collaboration, implementing this new school model, and literally things shifted that quick. That's how fast and powerful this stuff is. So, my next question was, great, it worked for me. Was this going to work for other people as well? So I put it to the test again. I brought in a group of diverse people from all over the world, just like you and me, who simply wanted to live a more fulfilling life, to be healthier, to be happier, to be more in their life purpose, to be doing their life's work that they can enjoy. And I put them through the same program that I was designing for myself and my own internal core team. And here's what they said. Marilyn said, "Thank you so much for another amazing class. And I love that you've provided actionable steps, David, and that you've encouraged us to follow through, Nathan, by assigning homework. And thanks for sharing your intuitive hit on my dream, Nathan. Thank you both again for this wonderful work and all the heartfelt support you both offer. Warmest wishes, Marilyn." She's such a sweetheart. She's been so great. One of our great students and members who went through this program. She's been amazing. Thank you. And Amy says, you know, I have a ton of background, vegan restaurant owner, raw chef, owner of colon hydrotherapy clinic, life coach, but I'm very drawn to this program and what you've created, Panacea Life School. Great energy. Well, thank you, Amy. Sylvia, she says, I listened to this and it is excellent. Great work being done. This is important work. It won't resonate with everyone, but there's a growing audience for this way of seeing. Thank you. You know, it's absolutely true. This kind of thing isn't going to resonate with everyone, and I understand that, and that's okay. But the truth is, if it resonates with you, that's what's important. You know, Karuna says, this class is very good, very inspiring. I really like it. Nathan, I really appreciate your effort to make this class available for everybody. I would like to listen again and again and learn how to make it happen. It's wonderful to know this practice. Well, thank you, Karuna. So, the truth is, I know you're here because you want to be fulfilled in life. You want to be healthier with more energy and clarity, and you want to have more abundance, prosperity, and meaningful purpose in your experiences, right? I know that, you know, it's really about experiencing results, because if you want the kind of help and the types of results that our students and members have been getting, these types of results that I've been getting, these types of results that we've been talking about, then let me take a moment and just show you what I'm doing and what I'm super excited about, okay? Before we get into that, let me ask you really quick. How many classes do you think you could attend per week? You think you could attend 5 classes per week, 3 per week, or 1 per week if you were attending any kind of personal growth class? What if you could only attend 1 class per week? What would that mean over the course of the next year? So let me give you kind of a big picture overview here. Here's what it would most likely mean in your life, right? 65 classes you would have completed, dozens of expert teachers supporting you along the way. Your goals would have been achieved faster than before, right? Because we know that co-creative collaboration helps us to achieve these things much quicker. You'd have less time worrying about your finances, your life, and your negative emotions, and you'd have a lot more time spent with your family, your dreams, and your passions, right? These are things that, you know, in the next year, just 1 class per week, which is what I did, put this to the test and got the experience in my own life, and the people who are going through it and have gone through it getting similar experiences in their life. These are things that we have found are absolutely true. And so in your life, 1 class per week means in a year, you would have completed 65 classes. Wow, you can't do that in a weekend, right? You can't do that in a week. You can't do that overnight. But over a sustained period of time, little by little, things shift very fast. And that is what I learned about this new model that is just so powerful. This has happened for me and the people you just heard from. So the truth is, it would definitely work for you as well, wouldn't it? So the reason I created this training program was because, you know, I wanted something that would not only work for me, as I mentioned, to exponentially increase the speed of my results, but because I wanted to see if it would work for other people as well. And right now, I'm looking for about 10 to 15 more people to go through the program. So really, we can get case studies to use for when we release it publicly on a global scale. I spent a lot of time developing this, a lot of experiences I've shared with you. I've spent over a year just going through the program myself and tweaking it and designing it, and figuring out how it works and how it can be successful and how it can help other people. So what I need is for this to work for more people so we can take it to the larger population of the planet who want and really need this information. These people who try this, who go through this program, will have the opportunity to get the same or even better results than I and the other folks who have already gotten through this program. So we call it Panacea Life School. In Panacea Life School, I designed to help you exponentially increase your ability to overcome life's greatest challenges. Remember those 25 greatest challenges we talked about? Obviously, there's more than that. But I designed it in a way to help you to overcome every one of those challenges, to help you to prevent, heal, and overcome them at some degree, and to experience health, vitality, and abundance quicker than before while living a meaningful, fun, and fulfilling life. So here's what PLS, or Panacea Life School, is designed to do for you. Designed to give you time to contemplate and implement the important things that matter to you most in life. It's designed to give you empowering information to lead you to experience higher levels of clarity, health, vitality, abundance, and happiness from life. It's designed with dynamic teachers with real-world experience about what they're teaching, so you get to learn firsthand from the successful leaders on the planet. You can be rest assured that you're getting pure, empowering content, because the truth is, there's nothing for sale during these classes. There's no hidden agendas from the teachers. That they show up to support you in your journey, and we know how important that is, right? You don't have to feel rushed or feel like you have to listen to the class immediately, as you can listen to the replays on your own schedule. And with actionable processes and homework, you actually get to take notes, follow up, and follow through with those things that really connected with you the most. And again, that is so huge. That is the thing that has helped me to transform so quickly. And within 13 months, you can go from wherever you are right now, wherever you are, to that next level of higher learning, more empowerment, more abundance, more joy in life, better relationships, better businesses, better career, better everything. And the truth is, if you do nothing, we know exactly what you're going to get, right? So this is what we call 13 facets of human experience. This is a curriculum. It's a specific curriculum that we designed. I designed with the help of Laura Fox, one of our core master teachers. She came up with the initial core idea of the curriculum, and I helped her fine-tune it and get it to a place that actually, through my experience in research and failures and successes, was going to be all-encompassing of all these things that actually matter to us most in life. One class per week with an accompanying workbook, action steps, and support team based on this 13 facets of human experience. I'm just going to go through them really quick. I'll give you the big picture overview, and then I'll take you through each one briefly, okay? First one is divine awareness. Second is energy mastery, then creative learning, physical nourishment, spaces and places, earth connections, visionary art, theater, and media, harmonious technology, sacred sciences, community systems, resource flow, sacred relations, and unified resonance. And let me get into each of these just briefly so you really understand what they are, because they're all critically important to living a sustainable, healthy, harmonious, happy, fulfilled life. Each one of these facets has the components we talked about, the 5 pillars: mental mastery, emotional engagement, physical purity, conscious connection, and co-creative collaboration. Each one of these things is based on those 5 pillars and goes into detail with practical application about how you can make those real in your life. So Module 1, Divine Awareness. Okay, 5 classes, 5 workbooks, an entire module you learn over the course of a month. Remember, it's just once a week. The first step in experiencing true unlimited potential within yourself. It's really about becoming actively aware and connected to the source energy within you and invoking that sense of creative desire and higher power within yourself to truly something much greater than that will support your life, ventures, relationships, health, and every aspect of life. And Divine Awareness Module 1.1, you've got Class 1 is Returning to Step 1 with Laura Fox. This is practical application stuff of how you can get more connected. Module 1.2, Breaking the Code, Receiving the Divine Guidance Encoded in Every Dream with David Dibble. Energize Your Divine Connection with Christina Smith. Radical Forgiveness with myself and best-selling author Colin Tipping. And Consciously Opening Your Channel, Divine Awareness with Darty Wesley. I want to share with you really quick. Laura Fox, David Dibble, Christina Smith, and Darty Wesley are core master teachers in Panacea Life School. These are the leading edge thinkers on the planet. These are people who live by what they say, and they have some of the most profound teachings I've ever seen. And they've been underground for years and years, because they've been underground studying, implementing, practicing, and researching and experimenting with their teachings and making them real in their life. I've met many very well-known teachers out there that everyone looks at it, and I get to know them and their work, and the truth is some of them don't really stand by what they say. They don't really practice what they preach, unfortunately. And everyone's a little bit guilty of that to some degree, but these teachers that I found, these are why they're the core master teachers. They teach every single month, plus we have guest teachers every month. These are the ones that I know personally, have worked with for years, and trust and believe and know that their information, their teachings are different, new, and unique, and empowering and practical beyond any other thing that I've seen out there. And that's why they're a part of this. Module 2 is energy mastery. And, we all know that everything's energy, right? Including your thoughts, your emotions, physical objects, and you. You are energy. So I have to ask you, wouldn't you want to be a master of your energy and learn how to direct it for the power to transform your life? Right? If everything's energy, don't we want to know how to master energy, master our thoughts, master the energy of our life, of our physicality, of our emotions? Well, Module 2.1, Energy Mastery, Psychic Awareness with Laura Fox. 2.2, Mastering the Energy of Dreams, doing Intuitive Dream Assignment with David Dibble. How to Heal Yourself with Christina Smith. Reveal the Secrets of Your Soul to Live Brilliantly with Danielle McKinnon. Living Energized, Creating Whole Health Consciousness with Cindy Kubika. She's an incredible teacher, a dear friend of mine. And Mastering the 12 Sets of Opposite Characteristics with Darty Wesley. This is a really empowering module, all in and of itself. And these are things that, if you learn, can help you shift the energy in your life very quickly. The third one is creative learning. And this is where you can imagine yourself being able to accelerate your learning process by 10 times. I mean, truly, imagine being able to use learning modalities from our ancient ancestors that allowed them to map the solar systems and design massive architecture without any modern technology. Imagine being a part of the new wave of education that will soon be sweeping the world by storm, right? The first class in creative learning is Creative Learning with Laura Fox and Frederick Lehrman. Frederick is an incredible teacher. He has this online school that experimented with some very interesting and empowering ways of learning that if you learn those kinds of modalities of learning, what they can do to accelerate your learning curve is really critical. Inner Astrology, tapping into how we think, learn, and relate with David Dibble. Life is for Learning with Ingrid Coffin and Christina Smith. Revolutionary Education at the California Institute for Human Science with Dr. Hope Umansky. Building a New Learning Paradigm with Darty Wesley and Marissa Brunel. Module 4 is about physical nourishment. Remember, we talked about, the third pillar is really about how to nourish our bodies, how to take back control of our health, how to cleanse ourselves, how to get ourselves to be vibrant, to be creative, to be clear, to potentially prevent, heal, and reverse any kind of diseases that we have, any energy blockages, anything going on in our life, how to overcome addictions, which foods are really good for us, which ones can serve us, what things can we do to actually support our healing journey, and just what are some small steps we can take to start experiencing better health right now, to lose some extra pounds, to have some better habits in our life. What nutritional drinks, what smoothies, what juices, what kinds of fruits and vegetables, what kinds of these things are actually good for us, which ones should we stay away from, right? What are the foods that we definitely shouldn't touch? What are the ingredients we should read on the back of the boxes that we know we absolutely should stay away from? There's some things, I guarantee you, that you haven't heard of before, that you don't know to look for out there. And I know because I spent a decade learning this stuff, and then all of a sudden surrounding myself with these educators, really accelerating my learning process. So, physical nourishment is really a critical part of this program. And going through the modules really quick, you got 4.1. We have Dr. Robert Young, best-selling author, over 5 million books, pH Miracle series. He's talking about physical nourishment, the pH Miracle with Laura Fox. From Burgers to Bliss. This is a class I did with David Dibble. We talked about practical transformation to healthy eating. This is a class, none of this stuff has been taught anywhere else, by the way. This is only available in this program. This isn't stuff you can go out and find online. These are very specifically curated classes and topics specific to this curriculum. So as you can tell, we spent a lot of time on this. Class 4.3 is Invisible Vitality, Energetic Nourishment with Christina Smith. The Energy of Life with Dan McDonald, also known as the Life Regenerator, and myself, and Being Conscious About Your Food, Your Air, and Your Water with Darty Wesley. Module 5 is Spaces and Places. And, this might not seem that important to some people, but the truth is, and I really thought long and hard about this, and the reality is we are impacted greatly by our environment. And if you knew the proven science of how to arrange your living and work areas so you are more prone to success in every area of your life, I mean, how would that be for you? What if you knew how to live off the land and be more self-reliant? What if you knew how to work with the energy of your surroundings so you'd be defended against negative vibrations? These are the important things to understand about our spaces and places. Joseph Smythe and Laura Fox talk about it. Voss Stu, from one of the leaders in the industry with David Dibble and Michael Mastro. He has a school, teaches people the ancient science of Indian Vastu, which goes way beyond anything to do with feng shui, which I had no idea it even existed, but when I learned it, it was very profound, the shifts that it makes in people's lives. Environmental energetics, everyday sacred living with Christina Smith. Module 5.4, spaces and places. This is a great fun class I did with Laura and myself. And what does sustainability mean to you with Darty Wesley and Ingrid Coffin? Ingrid runs a semi-off-the-grid, self-sustained retreat ranch called Blue Sky Ranch, and it's in San Diego, and it's really a beautiful place. And she built this place, it burned down. She built it back up from the ground up. They grow most of their food. They grow organic gardens. They have fruit orchards. They live in community. It's really a cool place. You learn how to live like that, whether you want to live in that kind of community in your life or just learn some of the principles that they teach there. It can totally change your life. Module 6 is Earth Connections. And the truth is, a lot of us have become disconnected from the Earth, and all we have to do is look at the myriad of diseases that it's caused. Cancer, diabetes, arthritis, heart disease, obesity, so many other diseases by being disconnected from the Earth. That's what's going on. That's a big part of it, right? We're putting highly processed foods in our body, we're putting toxins, negative emotion, all of this stuff that's polluting ourselves and causing 99% of the diseases. We know, this isn't, I'm not just saying this, we know through epigenetics that less than 1% of disease is actually genetic and that people don't have control over. Less than 1%. So we're talking 99% of this can be prevented, potentially healed and reversed, right? So what if you knew how to be more connected to the Earth so that you can reduce chances of diseases, increase happiness, and reconnect with abundance that is all around you? It would be pretty amazing, I'm telling you. And Module 6.1 is really Laura and myself. We dive into the Earth connections. 6.2 is all about the knowledge of the Toltec people. This is from David Dibble. This is Earth as a Conscious System. I learned so much from that class. As above, so below. The Divine Meets the Dirt with Christina Smith. She's so great and creative with her classes. Then I interviewed Peter Billick, bring him on board. Somebody nobody's ever heard of yet. He taught me how to grow the most lush, green, delicious, healthy, bountiful, plentiful green vegetables in the middle of the desert. If you want to grow food, you want to grow organic food, doesn't matter where you are, you need to listen to this class. It's incredibly empowering. Earth Connections, Planet Earth is a Sacred Space and Place with Darty Wesley. And we move into Module 7, which is about visionary art, theater, and media. And what does that mean? Well, this is where we get into a lot of fun, creative, dynamic, exciting stuff. This is where the secrets of reality creation, law of attraction, and manifestation through fun, engaging, empowering activities and exercises becomes real in our lives. Just imagine how quickly you can achieve your goals with this kind of information. This is where we use the energy of fun, the energy of activities, the energy of creative possibilities to actually co-create our most ideal living scenario through visionary art, right, the creative artistic side of our brain, through theater, through plays, through acting things out, and through media, right, looking at the next level of conscious media and how that plays a role in our life and what we can learn from that. So Laura first talks about how art relates to spirit and reality creation, which is actually a really cool class. Module 7.2, Your Life as Art, Living Your Vision with David Dibble. Then we have self-awareness through sound awareness with Christina Smith and Chloe Goodchild. Chloe is one of my favorite teachers, a dear friend and colleague, and Naked Voice, or Your Naked Voice. And I've listened to the entire course. She basically takes that whole course and disseminates it into this one class to some degree. Obviously, her course goes into more training and stuff, but what she teaches you is how to raise your natural voice, your naked voice, to bring out that essence of who you really are, to speak your voice. And how many people have problems speaking their voice, speaking their mind, speaking their truth? And she teaches it through singing, through fun, through creative sound vocalization, and it's really incredible. I'm someone who, as I became, embarked more and more down this spiritual path and became more involved in consciousness work, that I just naturally started singing all the time. And I noticed that my voice didn't sound very good, but I loved it. I loved singing, and I noticed people around me didn't care too much for my voice, but it just I just loved singing along with CDs in the car, and loved singing along to my daughter. And as I practiced more and as I listened to Chloe and practiced some of her techniques, and all of a sudden my voice started coming out more fully, and I feel more confident in my singing voice, even though I don't do any kind of profession, and I probably still sound terrible at it, but I certainly feel much more confident about it. I feel like my voice, I can speak my voice with confidence and clarity and bring it out in a way that is meaningful and that feels good to me. And that is what this class is all about. This is what Chloe teaches, and she's such a fun teacher. Then we have module 7.4, which is visionary art, connecting your higher self with your artistic and creative nature. We move into module 8, harmonious technology, and this is really looking at how the technology of the future can impact your role as a human citizen. And my question is, what if you could be a part of the technological advancement of humanity for the world? Would that be meaningful for you? Would that make a difference in your life? I think it would. Module 8.1, harmonious technology with Laura Fox and Joseph Smythe. Then we move into the critical path, the technology of cooperation with David Dibble. This is really a great educational portion. I mean, there's some really great teaching here with David, who brings in the essence and teachings of Buckminster Fuller, if you've heard of him. Oh my gosh, David's able to take really extensive and incomprehensible information that Bucky has written in books and disseminate it and turn it into something simple and understandable for the common person. And that is what I love about David Dibble and his teachings. Then you've got 8.3, which is What's Energy Got to Do with Me, with Christina Smith. Module 8.4, Harmonious Technology with Ernest Chu and myself. Ernie is the best-selling author of Soul Currency and one of the leading alternative energy producers in the country. We move into Module 9, which is Sacred Sciences. And this is where you can learn the leading sciences of the future and how they can be practically applied in your life to help you live more sustainably, healthy, and at the leading edge of the conscious evolution. Sacred Science, we open up Module 9.1 with Greg Braden and myself. He is just one of my favorite teachers. I've done some work with him in the past. This is one of the more dynamic things I've ever done with him, one of the more in-depth teachings that I've ever heard him teach. And I mean, I honor him so much. He's truly an amazing man. Love the work that he's doing. We're so honored to have him as one of our teachers with Panacea Life School. Then we have Sacred Science with David Dibble, the nature of the untrained mind. Again, bringing the mind power, controlling your mind back into these modules. We have Sacred Science with Christina Smith and Dr. Gaetan Chevalier. They talk about the power of subtle energy. Dr. Gaetan, if you know the book Grounding, I believe, or Grounded, that was a book that Dr. Gaetan had. Actually, he's the one that did the research for that book that's talked about in it. I met him personally. He's really a dynamic teacher. Then you have Sacred Science with Laura Fox and Mark Robert Waldman. Mark is a really great guy. I've done quite a bit of work with him in the past. This is a really fun and dynamic class, and he talks about how neuroscience and how it really affects your life. Mark is one of those leading thinkers and educators on the planet, one of the world's leading neuroscience researchers, and you can learn so much from him. Then you got Module 9.5, Sacred Science, a more highly functioning vision for humanity with Doherty Wesley. And we're down to the last couple of modules here. You got Community Systems, which this is the 10th facet, and we open up to the vision of possibility for love manifesting as a foundation and defining characteristic of human relations and organization. So the first one is Sylvia Clute and Laura Fox talking about community systems. We have David Dibble talking about building thriving communities by putting it on the wall. This is a process he has that can bring out every challenge in your life and give you solutions to it instantly. Christina Smith and Denise Lewis-Premchek talk about how to change the world through a community systems-based platform. I interviewed Howard Martin. We talk about a heart-based community. He has some very practical steps you can do to enter into your heart space and bring in this new sense of working together from a space of love, from a space of community, from a space of compassion. And Howard is just, I mean, he's an amazing, amazing teacher. And then you have The Right to Die with Darty Wesley. She talks about the law of beloved union, past perspectives of death, present perspectives, future perspectives, and then we move into resource flow. And this is one that, you know, by the time you get to this module, you're really ready for it because you've been prepped, you've really been working on your mind, your emotions, your physicality, you're stepping into your life purpose, you're making changes in your life, you're seeing changes, and all of a sudden, you know, imagine yourself learning the secrets of the masters on how to attract, manifest, and utilize the resources in a harmonious, abundant, meaningful, prosperous fashion. How could this change your life? To know how to make resource flow abundant in your life or take the abundance to the next level. Module 11.1 is with Joseph Smythe and Laura Fox. They talk about living in harmony with our abundant nature. You've got the American Dream. David talks about Nightmare for the Planet and what to do about it. Wealth, Health, and Happiness. It's all about flow. Christina helps you get into the flow of wealth and happiness. And then you've got the Power of Soul Currency. We bring Ernest Chu back again. And oh my gosh, this is about utilizing your hidden potentials as currency. And it's really amazing how he talks about this and what we share in this module. And then you have Integrating Spirit and Business with Darty Wesley. And sacred relations, you know, this is where I ask you if you could heal any relation in your personal life. Find true love and your soulmate and cultivate more meaningful relationships, friendships, and your relationship with the divine. How would that change your life? What kind of experiences would you have? You know, sacred relations. This is, you know, we don't learn this stuff in school, right? This is the kind of stuff that's like, man, I wish they would have taught us this in grade school and in high school, right? This is stuff that matters most. Well, Module 12.1, Sacred Relationships with Laura Fox and Alara Tiernan. 12.2, Sacred Relationships, How to Heal Any Relationship Right Now. Archetypes and Relationships with Harita Mania and Christina Smith. Then we bring on Crystal Hughes, and she has a dynamic class about sacred relations. And then we have Darty Wesley and Wendy Kavina who finish out the module very strong. And finally, I know you've been waiting for it, our 13th module, Unified Resonance. This wraps it all together. This is the beginning and the end. This is what makes everything very real and kind of accelerates things to the next level. This is where you can utilize powerful tools and resources to instantly connect to the higher field of consciousness to download necessary data for positively impacting every area of your life. And what if this knowledge and power could help you overcome every challenge you currently face? This is truly the power of unified resonance. 13.1 is the Unified Resonant Field with Laura Fox. Then we have Dreaming the New Dream Together with David Dibble, Awakening to Practical Oneness with Christina Smith. Then we have Unified Resonance with myself and the Vibration of Oneness with Darty Wesley. So I know that was a lot to digest. There's a lot of information, a lot of classes there. But this is where it all comes down to. I designed Panacea Life School to give you a bachelor's degree in life, right? I mean, this is the stuff that I wish I would have learned in grade school, in high school. I know many people who've gone through this, who I've talked to about it, say, you know what, I wish I would have learned that in school. Imagine how many problems you could save, how many challenges and experiences you could save yourself from going through. You know, your children, imagine your children going through this kind of education, how it can change their life. Imagine, you know, your parents and your grandparents and your loved ones and your friends and the people around you. Had they learned this information, how it would have affected their life and how it would affect the entire planet. Well, we can't go back in the past. We can't change what already happened. We know that. What we have right now is this present moment. We have the opportunity to take everything that we wish we would have learned and learn it right now. And that's what I did. You know, this is lifelong learning stuff. This stuff I'll learn for the rest of my life. But I wanted to create a bachelor's degree type of program that you could spend 8 or 12 years learning and condense it into 13 months. Because remember, I'm all about learning things fast. I'm all about getting things done. I'm all about accelerating to the next level. And I'll tell you what, 8 years or 12 years of learning in 13 months, this is timeless information. This will never age. This is information that will last for centuries because these are principles. These are universal, life-changing principles, stories, exercises, and practical steps that will always be there to support us on our journey. And so what I did is I created, I'll show you here, let me grab a drink of water here. What I did is I created an actual certificate of completion that when you complete this entire program, you'll actually get mailed this engraved. So you'll have this actual certificate of completion, and all you have to do is go through the classes. Remember, it's once a week. That's it. Fill out the homework. Once you finish, you can do it in less than 13 months. You can take the whole 13 months. You can do it in 2 months if you want. You can do it in 6. You can do it in 4 years. It's all up to you. But the reality is, you get this. You send in your homework, your completed worksheets, your workbooks. We review it. We send you off your certificate of completion. This is literally like getting your bachelor's degree in life. The important stuff, right? So, what I'm looking for right now is about 10 to 15 new students, new members who want to experience the results Panacea Life School can help deliver for them. This is, we only have this limited amount of space right now. This is a fact, mostly because we want to focus our time on these new students, make sure they're taken care of, make sure they're getting on board with the system, and prepare for taking Panacea Life School publicly. Okay, this is why we're letting in the first 15 students today at 50% off what the normal price will be when we launch publicly. So, unfortunately, if you don't get in now, you can definitely get in later when we do our full opening, but you would have to pay twice the price that you would today. Mostly because we want to get this going. We want to help these new students right now. So let me just talk a little bit about what this costs. I'm sure you're wondering what that is, and the reality is each class comes with a workbook, comes with an hour-long discourse, comes with homework, comes with action steps, and a membership site where everything is stored that you can access anywhere in the world. We're constantly adding, so we have the whole program and school inside there, but we'll constantly be adding new additional resources for you in there over the coming months and years as well. Each class, if sold separately, we'd sell for about $89, which is a very good price for a class like this. Actually, pretty low price, and $49 for the workbook. So basically, each class is about $138, right? That's very reasonable considering what's available on the market today. That honestly, for a 1-hour coaching call from just one of our teachers, one of our coaches, literally runs anywhere from $197 on the low end up to $497, and I've seen some teachers out there charging thousands of dollars. But most of our teachers, if you contact them and want coaching, you're looking at a couple $100 an hour just for their coaching and their advice, right? Well, there's 65 classes you receive when you become a member of Panacea Life School. So you're looking at 65 classes at $138. That's almost $9,000. That's the real value of the school. And that's on the low end. And that's being very realistic. But we didn't want to make this only available to the elite and the super wealthy and whatnot. Honestly, I want to make this available to as many people as possible. I want to help as many people as possible. I eventually want 100,000 people to go through this program, change their life, and share the information with the world. That is what I want this program to do. So that's why I was looking at $1997, which is very standard rate for an online course of this magnitude. I know typically thousands of people can afford something like that, but the truth is, that price limits it to only a select number of people. Maybe, 5,000, 10,000, certainly not 100,000. So I decided our launching price is going to be half of that, and for $997 for lifetime access to Panacea Life School, that's what we're going to launch it for publicly, which means that for the first 15 members today, we're cutting that in half to only $497. And this will likely be the only time this offer is available. I'm highly encouraging you to take action if you feel called to the desire to change any part of your life, your health, your wealth, your career, your finances, your relationships. This school will definitely help you transform those things in your life, guaranteed without a doubt. I want to look here just at a quick moment. What a college tuition costs, right? This is important to know because according to the College Board, the average cost of tuition for 2013-2014 year was $30,000 at private colleges. $30,000 a year, right? And you're usually going 4 years. It's $120,000 for a college education. Some of you have already paid that. Some of you are still paying that. Some of you are putting your kids through that right now, right? And all of that's fine. But the truth is, you know, state residents at public colleges pay about $9,000, and $22,000 is standard per year for out-of-state residents attending public universities. But right now, what's going on, as you know, the price of tuition at colleges around the country is going up. It has been going up year after year, and it's still going up, and it's projected to continue going up. So we keep paying more and more and more for these college tuitions, for these college degrees, and the average college graduate makes $30,000 a year. Nothing wrong with that, but they're usually not doing what they went to school for, and they're usually not making the money that they're worth and that they desire, and they're usually not doing what they love in life, right? That's what's going on. That's the truth. And I'm not putting down any colleges out there. I'm just stating a fact that I've recognized what's going on with our school system. And that's why, to me, it was so important to spend the time to design this new school system that works for anybody at any age in their life, at any degree of their career, at any type of education and background that they have, whether, you know, they're just starting out in the personal growth field or they've been in it for 40 years. Or they've been to college, they have a master's degree, and they're looking to go to the next level. Or, you know, they're looking to learn this information so they can share it with their clients and their students. Or they're looking to take this information out to the world, or they're looking to share it with their children. Looking to become a better person, a better mother, a better parent. Looking to help support somebody else, looking to help support themselves. That's why I designed this school. And that's why I think it's so empowering, and that's why I know it will help you. And so, we know that, you know, college tuition is going up. We know that it's expensive to go to college. But what about the time that you'll be saving by investing in the subjects that matter most in life? With only 1 hour per week, you can fit into even the busiest schedule on the planet, right? If you have a very busy schedule and you are, you know, thinking, well, you know what, I don't have a lot of time. I can't really invest in this. The truth is, 1 hour per week, 60 minutes a week, right? Could you invest 60 minutes a week in your own personal growth, in your own self-development, in your own wealth creation, in your own life expansion? 60 minutes a week, 1 hour per week. That is the question that I have for you. And what if you could attract wealth easily and naturally, discover what really makes you happy, experience a newfound professional confidence, learn to make smart decisions that serve your best interest, right? Find a life partner who pushes you to be the best you can be. Master a new art or skill, right? Like cooking, skiing, or painting. Make sense of your personal history and use it to your advantage. Become a pro at nearly any sport. Learn a foreign language as easy as breathing. Be a star on piano, guitar, drums, or any musical instrument. You know, imagine if you could nurture your health instead of destroy it. Imagine if you get up in the morning excited and full of energy instead of endlessly hitting snooze. Imagine if you could build strong relationships with the people that matter most and fix relationships that aren't moving you forward. Imagine if you could live a life of health and plenty, right? Abundance and prosperity instead of sickness and want. What if you could never feel stuck or frustrated again? To this I say, welcome to Panacea Life School. The truth is, I don't know if you're going to become a professional skier or a professional chef, or, you know, you're going to learn a foreign language, or you're going to become a spiritual guru. You know, you might already be these things. You might become so much more than them. I don't know what you're going to do with this information. What I do know is that by having this information, by having this support team, by having these resources on your side, by having this information in your toolbox, in your educational system, in your mind bank, right, you are going to be able to do so much more with your life. You are going to be able to take your life
to levels you've only dreamed of and maybe have never even dreamed of before. That's the reality. When you surround yourself, right, co-creative collaboration, when you surround yourself with people that care about you, that want to see you do better, that care about their mission, that this is their life purpose. Their life purpose is helping others, is serving others, is helping raise people's consciousness, is helping work together to create a better planet. When you're surrounding yourself with people whose that's their intention and that's what they're doing and that's how they're showing up in life, wow, your life changes quick. I'll tell you what. That's who you attract to yourself. And that's the type of person you become, and you become a magnet for other people to come to you as well. That's what happens. Your magnetic vibration increases. As you know, I'm a testament to this. Our students are a testament to this. Our teachers are a testament to this. And at some level, I'm sure you are, but definitely, and that 100% money back guarantee. You know, it's no risk. I want to take away all the risks from you because I want you to know that I truly believe in this. I truly believe it will help you. I truly believe it will give you the support and guidance that you need to go to the next level. That's why we have 30-day money back guarantee. It's 100% satisfaction. I've been helping people for years now. We have thousands of clients from all over the world who part of our summits, part of, buy our books, part of our CDs, part of other online programs and this sort of thing. And the truth is, we've only had a handful of refunds out of thousands of clients, literally. I mean, I could probably, maybe we've had 10 refunds out of thousands of clients. And all they do is email us and say, I'd like a refund, and we refund them. That's it. I don't ask questions. We're not interested in why it didn't work. We're interested in honoring our agreement. Our agreement is we put everything we could into this program. We know it's going to help you so much. We know that it's going to benefit you, and we know that you can try it out for an entire month. You don't like it, email us and we'll refund you. There's absolutely no risk, no questions asked whatsoever. And I want to take it to another level. I want you to know how much I truly believe in this and believe in you. And if you fill out the workbooks, you take the classes, and you still feel like it was a waste of your time, I will send you a $250 cashier's check, a money order, basically, that you can go to the bank and cash just for trying it out. So I will pay you $250 for trying it out if you absolutely think it was a waste of your time, and if you fill out the workbooks, you send them to us, you take the classes. Again, you absolutely don't like it, you think it's a waste of your time, email me, send me the information. I'll send you a check for $250. That's how serious I am about this. So I want you to think about for a moment what life could be like if you were guided every week to follow your dreams, to sustain your business and your career, to inspire you to take action, to hold your hand down the pathway to success and be supported on your journey towards ultimate health, vitality, and abundance. What would life be like for you in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year? What would your family say? What would your friends say? What would your colleagues say? You show up to work, you show up to your job, you show up to your business, you show up to your career, and you've accelerated yourself to the next level very quickly. How would people perceive you? It would be incredible, wouldn't it? But I have to give you a little warning here. And I have to give you a little bit of a warning because the truth is this is not for everyone. There are some people that this just isn't for, and I wouldn't feel right if I didn't tell you this ahead of time, because the truth is we shouldn't go any further until I get this out of the way. Panacea Life School is not for everyone, and the reason why is because the information contained inside these modules truly has the potential to totally, completely, and irrevocably change every part of your life. Absolutely true. It is very possible. And if you're not ready for that, then you probably shouldn't get involved with Panacea Life School. That is the case, if you're not ready for change, if you don't want to live a better life, if you're not interested in experiencing more wealth and abundance, experiencing better relationships, and taking your career and life to the next level, then it's just not for you. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't want you to waste your time, and it certainly wouldn't be for you. But the alternatives are, you don't do this, and your life stays exactly the same, right? Nothing changes. You still don't have time to work on your own self-development. You're still frustrated at work and at home. You continue to develop health problems that build up over time. You still struggle with money,
right? You still can't get ahead, put away any serious savings, or get ready for retirement. You still don't know why you're here on the planet, still having issues with that. You still feel directionless and bored, and you're overloaded with busy work. You keep wasting time you can never ever get back. So is that the reality you want for yourself? Of course it's not. We both know that. We know that it's not the reality. And I know that change can be scary. But if you let us help you, it doesn't have to be terrifying. I'm asking you to give Panacea Life School a chance for 1 hour a week, and I promise that you will be amazed at the results. So here's how to register. There's a button on this page somewhere next to the webinar. I think it says Lifetime Membership, Show Me More. Click that button. It will take you to the registration page recapping what we spoke about. At the bottom of the page, you'll find a Get Started Now button. Click that button, and it will take you to PayPal. Now, you can pay with your secure PayPal account, or you can choose the option at the bottom right of the PayPal screen to not use PayPal and to use a credit card instead. So that's totally up to you. And once completed, you'll receive an email with access information to the membership site within 1 hour. You will have access inside the online school. After that, we'll send you an email once per week with access information to the new class of that week. And inside the members area, you'll have unlimited access to listen to the recordings and fill out the workbooks at your own speed. So you can do it, you can do 2, 3, 4 a day. You do 2 a month, you can do it whenever you want, or you could follow along each week as we email you the class details. You have full access to it as soon as you log in. So my only question is this, what is it that would be holding you back from taking this step forward? I know you might feel like you don't have the time to do it. I understand. Sometimes I certainly feel that way. And if you're willing to spend just 1 hour per week, this is what I found. That's less than 1% of your time. It's about 0.5% of your time on your own personal growth through Panacea Life School. Imagine that. Imagine what I shared with you earlier, what 1 hour a week can do for your life in 13 months. Imagine the results that you could experience. I know money might be an issue for some people, and I understand that as well. That's why we dropped the price significantly. And if it's about money, consider this. You have a full 30-day period to try it out, see if it works for you. On top of that, you're getting lifetime access to the membership. So imagine knowing the secrets about resource flow, law of attraction, wealth creation, and manifestation, how just one of those subjects in one of those classes could change your financial destiny forever. There's one practice that I learned that literally within a couple of months I started practicing. My financial abundance started shifting completely, literally. I went from about $1,000 in my bank account to $35,000 in my bank account within 2 months, where I'd never experienced that before in 8 years. Just practicing one of these things, plus the other things I'd been practicing, I'm sure had helped cultivate, my learning and my skill set up to that point. Just imagine what you can learn. You can go in there and access that module right away. You don't have to go through them in order. I do recommend you go from 1 to 13. To really get the most benefit. But if there's something in there that's calling you right away and it's resource flow or it's something else, you can go in and access that whole module immediately. Grab a glass of water here. And I know some of you might not like taking classes online. I totally understand that. And this is what you can do. You have to access, what you do is you go online and you can access every class and immediately download it to your computer, and you can burn it onto a CD and listen to it in the car while you drive. That's how easy it is. You don't have to spend time online. You don't have to spend time on the computer. You can download the workbooks, print them out. You've got a printed material. You can download the classes, put them on CD, put them on iTunes, put them on an iPod, put them on your iPhone, put them on an iPad, put them on anything that starts with an I, and you can take it with you wherever you want. Or you can access it anywhere in the world online. And the truth is, we only have about 15 spots available today, and there are hundreds of people watching this webinar, and will watch the replay. And once we fill up those spots, we will close it down so we can spend time connecting with our current students, getting prepared to launch it to the public at the normal price, which again is going to be double of what you would pay today. It's going to be $9.97 when we launch it publicly. So
this is really your time to decide. You know, you and I both know there's a reason you're on this webinar. There's something you want to change about your life. And we both know that Panacea Life School can help you achieve those results faster than anything we've ever done before, right? So I'm going to open up here for Q&A. I'm going to answer some questions. If you have any questions about how the school works, this is the time to ask. So you should see a chat box appear on your right side. If you have any questions about the program, if you have any questions about the how the system works, how the school works, how the program works, how any of the modules work, anything like that, go ahead and chat it. You should be able to see a chat box now. Ask your questions there, and we'll take questions here. So while we're waiting for questions to come in, there are some common questions I've noticed in the past, and so I did answer this. I want to recap it again. Do I have to be online to access a class? Online to access, then you don't have to be online any longer. Another question I've gotten is, who is this for? I could spend hours on this. I'd spend less time on who it's not for. The reality is, it's for people who want to change one or more of the major challenges of life. We talked about those 25 major challenges. There's obviously more than that. If you want to change any one of those in your life right now, or you want to change 2 or 3 or 4 or 8 or all 25, then this is going to be for you. If you're somebody who does not want to change anything, you're somebody who absolutely is living the dream life that you absolutely love to live, and you don't want to change anything, you don't want anything new, you don't want anything different, you don't want anything better, you don't want more abundance, you don't want better health, you don't want better relationships, you don't want better vitality, you don't want to change anything in your life, then it's obviously not going to be for you. That's really all it comes down to. So what I found is that no matter where you're at in life, whether you're a medical doctor, you're a clinician, you're a health expert, you're somebody who, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're somebody who lives in Australia that's just looking for a better way of life, you're, anywhere in the world, you are, somebody who is at the leading edge or somebody who's just starting out. Wherever you're at in your life, this program has the material that can support you along the way. And again, not everything's going to resonate with you. That's absolutely true. You're not going to, all 65 classes are not going to absolutely resonate with you, but it's the 13, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50 of those classes that you're going to learn something from, you're going to resonate with. It's going to make a lot of sense to you, and it's going to give you that catapult to completely change your life. It's going to give you that opportunity to take your life to the next level. It's going to give you that support. It's going to give you that, consolidated sense of information, because we know, there's encyclopedias of information out there how to change your life, right? It's just, it's unlimited. You go to a library and, there's shelves and shelves and shelves. There, Barnes & Noble, shelves and shelves, personal growth books and this and that. But the reality is, I did all the work for you in the sense that, I spent years going out, researching the educators, researching the topics, researching the information, interviewing them, studying from them, learning from them, seeing what really makes sense, what's really going to make a difference, what's going to impact you in your life the most, and brought them together and said, look, let's take your most important teachings, let's condense it into 1 hour, right? Let's take your information and put it into a meaningful, practical 1 hour class that anybody can take and listen to right now that can change their life, okay? And so you don't need dozens of books or hundreds of books or dozens of seminars or dozens of courses. I designed this to be an all-encompassing entire 13-month or 13-module online school that can cover every facet of life, right? We talk about 13 facets of human experience. We're talking about personal development. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about health and wellness. We're talking about wealth creation, financial abundance, manifestation, prosperity. We're talking about doing the work that you love, your career, your passion, about being in service to the world, about community systems, about being in harmony with the planet, about growing your own food, about, all these things that are meaningful, all these things that matter the most, all these things that, honestly, we wish we would have learned in school. We didn't have the chance to, but now we do. This is what Panacea Life School is all about.
And so if you have any questions about any of it, enter it in the chat box. I want to hear from you. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Let's see if I can see it here. Chat me where you're from, what you think about the information, what you think about the school, any questions you have about it. And let me see if I can see it here. Let me ask you, can you see this? All right, I just chatted in there. I've never used this chat before, so let's see if this is working. Chat's working here. Maybe I don't have it working properly. So, well, let me go ahead and try and answer some more questions here that might be common questions about it. Another question is, can I access this anywhere in the world? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Anywhere you have an internet connection, anywhere you have a computer, you can access this information anywhere in the world. You have a password, you have a username, you can log in, you can download it to your computer, you can take this with you. I mean, it's a school that you can take with you on your travels. You can have with you. You don't have to go and spend tens of thousands of dollars at a higher learning academy education program. You don't have to go out and spend years and years and years getting bachelor's and master's and all these degrees. If you've already done that, that's okay. You don't have to do it anymore in terms of learning about these things that are going to impact your life the most and impact the planet the most. I mean, come on, let's get real, right? The truth is, the planet right now, how society is, we've been heading down kind of a negative spiral path. And there are certain people who've been, holding the energy. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've been helping to hold the energy of this to a much higher level. And there are people who are willing and ready to take it to the next level, help turn this sinking ship around so that we can actually live sustainable on this planet, so that we can actually, have a future for our grandchildren's grandchildren. That's our life, how we live, what we do in life, how we take care of our health, leads us to a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. But ultimately, how we leave the planet, how we leave our legacy is going to impact our children, our grandchildren, and our grandchildren's grandchildren. And that's what we need to be thinking about, is how our thoughts, emotions, and actions and intentions impact our future and our children's, our grandchildren's future. So that is what I invite you to do. Do this for yourself, but do it for other people. Do it for your family. Do it for the world. Do it because you feel called to it. So apparently, okay, yeah, I guess this chat is working. All right, good. So I guess I answered all the questions. If there's no questions here, let me see. Let me go back here to the slideshow so you can see this. The webinar's ending. I know it went over. I wasn't sure how long this was going to be. Like I said, it's the first one I've done with this information at this level, so I want to thank you for being here. The webinar's ending in about 3 minutes. This is your chance to truly make a lasting difference in your life. Once this is over, it's not going to be available at this price much longer. Again, once we fill up our seats, we'll take this down. We'll have to move on, take care of our current students, start planning, releasing this to the public. But we want to help, the 15 of you right now who want to get in at this 50% off and help make a difference in your life. So make sure to click the button on this page. Let's go ahead and get started together. Even if you don't order, I want you to know I appreciate you and your time for being here, and I hope that you got something valuable out of this. I hope that our time here together was meaningful. I hope that you got some sense of inspiration, some sense of clarity, some sense of empowerment, something useful, anything in your notes that can support you in your life. That's what I'm about. I'm about inspiring and empowering people. I'm about sharing my life story and sharing what I've learned from all these major experts on the planet, helping to condense that, helping to catalyze your life at a much quicker and faster and higher level. And that's all I ask. All I ask is that you take something from this, you walk away with something that's going to help you. So whether you become a student we call student of life or a member of Panacea Life School or not,
I honor you, and I appreciate you, and I respect you, and I really appreciate you for being here and spending the time here. And I want you to remember there is a free bonus gift for you. So I don't want to forget that before you go. That's another kind of thing that I promised you from the beginning for staying here for the whole time. I have the Conscious Willpower audio downloads for you. So to get that, if you get Panacea Life School, it's inside Panacea Life School under additional resources. So you're going to have access to the whole Panacea Life School, all 13 modules, all the classes, all the workbooks, all the audios. But you're also going to have access to additional resources, Conscious Willpower. So it's inside Panacea Life School. If you don't, that's okay. Click the button on this page anyway. The button that has more information should say something like "Show me more," I think. And at the bottom of that page, at the very bottom, there's a blue link at the bottom that says something like "Access your free bonus here," Conscious Willpower, download your free gift here. I think that's what it says. It's at the very bottom of that order page. Just look for that blue link at the very bottom. So I don't want you to leave without getting that. So if there's not any other questions, let me go back here. No questions here. All right. I just want you to be happy. All I want for you to is be happy and to experience honestly a more fulfilling life, a more abundant life, a more conscious life, a more happy life. Hey, Stefan, I see you chatting in there. What's up, man? I appreciate you. Stefan's a good friend of mine out of San Diego. It's good to see you, man. I hope you're having fun over there at Yellow Deli. I miss hanging out over there with you. But my motto of actually the last 2 days, put a post-it note on my fridge. It says, "Don't worry, be happy." Reminds me of that song. So, just know all I want for you is to be happy, experience a higher quality of life. I hope I provided you some kind of value today to be able to do that. Remember, there's absolutely no risk in trying this. You have a free 30-day guarantee. You can get started right now transforming your life simply by clicking the button on this page, going to the bottom of the order page, and click Get Started Now. Okay? So if you missed the first half of this webinar, I shared a lot of really empowering content. You can go back. I'll have the replay available within a few hours. It's going to be on the same page. Otherwise, I'll email you the replay if you missed the beginning. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside Panacea Life School. Can't wait to see what changes and transformation you have, what kind of case studies you have to share with me from your life from going through this course. Thank you so much. And be well. I'll talk to you soon.